Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the December 2020 DECM. Can you believe it's December? This year, I don't know. We can't even talk about this year, honestly. We cannot even talk about this year because it was crazy. I am super excited. Thank you for taking time to be here at the DEC. And I just want to say happy holidays. This is a non-sectarian, there's no specific religions or creeds this is just like happy holidays. I am so excited about all of the fun things we can do. Hopefully people can take some time off, Zoom with your family or whatever it is that you're going to do. Stay safe, stay healthy, happy. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I feel like these decks are like in between all these holidays, so we don't really get a chance to like show costumes or show what we had for Thanksgiving. But I just want to say thank you all. I'm Beth Bolhofer. I'm your district director. It is December 5th, and this is our last deck of 2020. So we have a jam-packed schedule. So excited. This is just an overview of the schedule. And so I have so many amazing things. Linda's going to go over the profit and loss. Sally's here to talk about open houses. Lisa, George, and mostly Lisa's going to talk about all the makeup training and the TLI is coming up. We have a 30-minute session on contests. So be ready for that. You can't miss a District Bucks update from Abe. And there's updates on OATM, okay? OATM, everyone keeps asking. Chris is going to talk about what's the changes that you need to know. DLC, people, I know it's 6 months in and you're all like, oh, I'm just getting going. But you know what? Next year's around the corner. And when I'm talking about next year, I'm talking about July 2021. And you have to think about succession planning. That's a thing. So we're going to be doing that today. Kevin Markle is here, our immediate past district director, to talk about what you need to know about succession planning and the DLC, the District Leadership Council. And then we have the Pathways update. We have a whole new VPP program. Lindy Sinclair is our chair, and she's going to be talking about what's going on with that. So you cannot miss a single second, because don't forget, at the end here, we have Ashley Harkness and Bill Holsley talking about club coaching and a new program called the Club Ambassador Program. So it's like it never stops. There's no breaks. So everyone's an adult. If you need to do a break of any kind, just turn off your camera, mute yourself. Everyone's an adult here. We're gonna have a lot of stuff. Then we have 20 minutes for just director huddles. Now, every few days I get requests about like, Bet, oh my goodness, should I send you gift cards right now? Like, oh, something terrible is happening. You need gift cards. Let me tell you, first of all, we're not allowed to buy gift cards. Okay, I will not ever be asking you for gift cards, because we're literally not allowed to buy gift cards as a non-for-profit. So if you ever get an email from me asking you to buy you gift cards, it's a phishing scam. And if you respond to the person, then they know you're alive and they will continue to bother you. Now, if you really want to spend a lot of time and have a lot of fun, you can actually ask them for money. Say like, oh, please send me money right now. So that could be fun for you. But if you're very busy, just do not respond to them. I will never ask you a random thing. Like, I will never say regards. I don't use this word. So I don't know if you ever see an email that's like, please get back with me immediately. Regards, Bet. That's not me. Okay, so just some ways to check. I usually send it from bet@D57TM. Please don't respond to emails that are obviously not around Toastmasters. We have 9 Zoom accounts. So if you're a club officer joining today and you, for some reason, don't have a Zoom account, I know everyone on our deck knows that we have a 9th Zoom account. Send an email to info@D57TM. Also, if you're setting up an area contest, division contest, this is how you get that contest set up. So Ed is your point of contact, but you need to email him at info@D57TM to get those contests and those events set up. Thanks, Ed. All right, rename yourself. We are going to have our division breakouts at the end of this meeting, and it's going to help us a lot if you put your names correctly. I feel like I say this many, many times, and then I end up renaming people manually. So if you could just rename yourself, it's going to be so helpful. If you're a chair, put your chair title, but also if you want to go into a division breakout, you can put your division in the beginning. So that way we know which division to send you to. So that's actually just going to help everyone live a better life. Okay, let's talk about club visits. I spent a lot of time animating this slide. I hope everyone's appreciating it. So we had 84.9. It's so close to 85% of club visits submitted. And I mean, I feel like I should be celebrating. I showed this to my beautiful husband, Steve. He's like, that's really good. And yet the day of, I was getting questions on how do I submit visits. I was literally sweating through my clothing. And do you know why? The reason why is because if we don't hit 75% of our club visits, then we actually cannot qualify for the Distinguished Club Program. That means that if one division decides to somehow, like, they can't put their visits in, we could actually like not be distinguished, even if we started 20 clubs, every other club in the district did like presence distinguished. So it's just really, really important that we submit the visits, and they don't have to be perfect. If you're missing information, don't like not put it in, just put it in and say like, hey, we're still looking for this information. It's not like the end of the world if you don't put some fields in. So the next visits, I know you just got them in on Monday and you're probably like so excited right now, but guess what? The next ones are due on May 31st. That's an extra day because this time it was November 30th. So you have one extra day, but I really want you to plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead. Let me check on my time. I have exactly 2 minutes to get feedback. I would love to hear from somebody on what worked in their club visits. Don't be shy. We have exactly 2 minutes. So let's see how many people we can get up on stage. All right, Elliot. Elliot, tell us what worked.
Right. Talking to the club app, right, as you're writing the report. I actually sent the reports to 2 different officers in some clubs, and that really helped.
I love it. It's a conversation. It's a conversation. And you know what? You could do it early. You could actually start the conversation early, like, hey, I'm looking for this information. What's going on? You know, the thing is, a lot of people complain about club visits, but the truth is, sometimes you're project managing your VPE at that club, because if you ask them who's finishing level 3, who's finishing level 4, they have to go, oh, let me go find out and let me track that person. So it's a forcing function to actually make people do things. All right, I want to hear someone tell me what they want to do differently next time. Anybody want to share something that, okay, Jeff.
Discovering that the downloadable PDF form for area visits is not the same as the web form for visits, because I filled out the entire PDF form and then had to fill out the web form again in entirety.
Wow, that is the worst. That's the worst ever. I'm so sorry to hear that. All right, thanks everyone. Club visit, debrief. Oh, look at that fun animation I made. All right, let's go to the treasurer guidelines, and Linda, I'm going to go ahead and share for you. So take it away on our profit and loss. Linda Patton.
Thank you so very, very much. I am so proud of us as a district. While our membership revenue has dropped this month, it did not meet budget. We are still, when we get to the next one, you'll see we are still way over what we budgeted for the period of time. As you can see, we're $3,000 ahead, which is fantastic. What that means to us, but can you go back? One more. What that means is we're looking for new members. We're looking for new clubs. That's where the additional revenue is going to come from. Probably not from renewals, since we are pretty much at the end of the renewal season. So my key here is keep bringing in those new members. Please keep having your open houses, convert to guests into new members, and that kind of thing. As you can see, we are way below our budget as far as expenses are concerned, which is actually kind of cool, but I'm also expecting that after the first of the year, we're going to start getting clubs requesting reimbursement for things that they've bought against their incentives. So I'm looking forward to that. And as you can see, we are ahead. Bet, next one. Looking at from July 1, which was the beginning of our term to the end to Halloween, we are $3,000 over in revenue. Again, we did a fantastic job of getting our renewals in early. And this shows in where our profit and loss is. Also, again, we have money built up for incentives, for thank you gifts, not gift cards, and other things that we have not spent yet. And so we are in excellent shape in the fact that we are $22,000 ahead. And I'm expecting to see a lot of change in this, again, after the first of the year, as clubs begin to use their district bucks to purchase key things for their club. Okay, next. All right, I have this running discussion about how many times do I have to tell you this. The key thing here is the last sentence. Cash and cash equivalents, including but not limited to non-Toastmasters gift certificates. You can give gift certificates to the Toastmasters store. Don't forget that. You can do that. Gift cards or any other stored value products are not permitted. You will not see Lisa Fairchild send anyone a gift card for their work on TLI, or Ashley for their work on the TTT. We aren't doing that. We are definitely looking at new, different, fun things. So, Beth, these are the kinds of things, and this actually comes from the Toastmasters website. These are some of the things that you can send as tokens of appreciation. Thank you cards, flowers up to $25, and not a gift card for flowers. Toastmasters gift certificates, Toastmasters products, and any gift up to $25. We talked about sending books. I got a lovely gift from Toastmasters leadership in a face mask. It was wonderful. It was a gorgeous face mask, and it really made me proud to wear it. You can also, if you are expressing sympathy, someone's in the hospital, someone has COVID, anyone has had a death in the family or whatever, you can send sympathy cards, and again, flowers up to $25. And incentives, if you're doing incentives for a membership drive or something along those lines, you can do Toastmasters products, gift cards, and you could do registration to the conference, which we haven't quite figured out yet how much that's going to be, but that is a possibility as well. What you can't buy is you cannot donate money or goods to outside charities. I had one club ask me whether they could donate to a particular charity, and the answer is absolutely not. Nor can we donate to individuals at any level of the Toastmasters organization. So if you wanted to give Beth a donation for how fabulous she's been, you can't do that. You also cannot pay speakers for any event. That is also true. Our conferences, we don't pay the speakers. We may pay their expenses, but we definitely do not pay them. And my favorite is no alcohol and no gift cards. And Bet, with that, that's my report on the budget. Any questions? Do I have time for questions?
I don't think you have time for questions, but people can chat with you, Linda. I think you've made it extremely clear, but I do know everyone's multitasking right now. So thank you so much, Linda. That was awesome. And I like how you tell all of these rules with a smile. And now, next up, unmuting herself right now is Sally. She's going to unmute herself before she gets going because I see her smiling and standing. So Sally, do you want me to just turn off my screen share and share your lovely video?
No, I don't think I have a video. But I have this lovely screen sharing, so you can just leave that on. I tried to put more stuff on it, but
Okay.
I couldn't figure it out last night. It was too late, and so I said the heck with it.
Okay.
So I just want to yak at you for just a minute, everybody, because
I'm gonna
open
stop sharing.
houses
I'm gonna
should
stop
be on
sharing.
the forefront of your.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, everyone, you can put me on speaker view and then I'll be bigger and you can see me better. I just want to say that, first off, open houses they're easy, but they require commitment. I have some exciting news for you. Randy Ellington has been working on an application, I'll call it an application, I don't know what it's supposed to be called, so that we can put our open houses up on the internet for an online ad situation through the District 57 website. He and George are working on that. We're hoping to have that out by the first part of January. It's going to be wonderful in helping you to get the word out about your open houses. We're also working on step-by-step instructions on how to set up a Facebook account, how to set up a LinkedIn account, Nextdoor, the various places where we put up advertisements for our open house. We're going to have step-by-step instructions for people like me who don't have a clue how to do those things. So that is coming up, first part of January. It is so exciting. It's going to be helping all of us get the word out about our open houses. I also have a slight adjustment in the requirements for the documentation. Thanks to Bet, I now have access to the membership list for all of the clubs in the districts. So that means that you do not have to go find your membership list and send it to me because I've got access to that. What I do need, though, are ads that say, come to our open house. They have to say, come to our open house. They can't just say, come to our meeting, because then they're not an open house advertisement. So please, please, please remember that when you're advertising your open house, you want to say, come to our open house. Super important to know. And that is super important to know, that you need to say, come to our open house. Don't overthink your open houses. They don't have to be complicated. Ask one of your own members to be a speaker. Doesn't have to be a high level speaker. It can be any of your club members. Allow enough time for chatting with your guests. Invite me to come. I've been coming to some of the open houses. I'm a guest. I can't make all of them, but I have been coming to a few. I've got one scheduled for Monday and another one Friday. So invite me, invite your friends, invite all of your guests. Make it easy. Have a regular meeting, just have less parts. Have an opportunity for all of the guests to speak in table topics. This is your chance to find new members, get acquainted with people you don't already know. People from across the United States come to these open houses. It is fabulous. And the last thing I want to say to you is that open houses are fun, easy. They just require a bit of a commitment to get that documentation in, because 50 district bucks will be headed your way. And you can do it 4 times this year. 4 times, one at a time, 4 times, for a total of 100 district bucks. And with that, Bet, I will leave my extra time to the rest of your meeting. Open houses rock.
Woo! So just doing some quick math, I know it's early on a Saturday morning, but I feel like 4 times 50 is isn't it $200, Sally? I think it is.
Oh, it is $200. You're right, because 50 times 4 is 200. Oh my gosh.
It's so much money.
$200 of district bucks.
$200.
Yeah.
Run an open house. It's so much fun and they work so well. I am just amazed at the amazing things that happen during open houses. And now, speaking of the next most exciting fun thing, it's Lisa with training. We have so much amazing training. Lisa, tell us all about it.
I will. I'm going to give you a quick update on TLIs, what we've done, where we're going, and division makeup trainings. So we did our first TLI, the TLI Invitational, first ever, in November, and we had, you see the numbers, 231 or 23% of our officers trained, 92 clubs out of our 135 5 active clubs sent 1 or more members, and we had 24 clubs. Hats off to all of you who had 4 or more clubs that sent 4 more officers sent. So we made a good start, and we have lots of work to do. Let's look at the TLI Invitational. We tried something different here, and we geared it toward our officer base, which we know has a lot of seasoned or experienced leaders who have been leaders time and again. Many of them have been to many TLIs. We did a survey at the end, and the results were in is it was successful. It did exactly what we wanted it to do. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But you see that we had a 5-point rating scale, and the scale was always asking, was it helpful? Was it useful? We got great numbers. We're in the A+ range, A- range for all of them, except the workbook. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to talk about the workbook and the lessons learned, but I will say that the workbook was really helpful from a design standpoint, because we were very purposeful in the workbook at saying, why are we delivering this and what outcome are we looking for the participants? That helped us stay really focused and on track in terms of what we are delivering. I showed you the numbers. There are lots of verbiage. We asked people what they thought. I picked these 3 because and I highlighted the parts of them that I thought were pertinent, because these are exactly the things that we started with in mind. We wanted knowing our members. We knew that our leadership base was been to TLIs many times, and it was important for them to have something different, to come for a different reason. We had a great team. We planned, we coordinated, and that was everyone from the design team to all the back end folks that made it happen seamlessly. Most useful, that was our goal, is how do we take something that can be useful to all the people coming? And when time flies by, we know we're engaged. That's a good thing. And then this last comment, that it was the best TLI ever attended. It was fantastic, had the perfect balance of content, participation, and engagement. In fact, I felt sad when it was over. That is bonus. And that came from Michael Notaro, who is an international past president. So very cool, but really highlighted these because they represented many of the thoughts that people shared. Whoops, sorry. I don't know how I skipped like 5 slides there, but let me go back. What made it work? The design team process. And what I meant by that is that we started with with questions. What do we want to create? What's the population? What's the district need? And how do we shake those things up? The design team process was a brainstorming. We invited people to bring themselves, their experience, their perspectives, and nothing was out of bounds at first. And then once we played with lots of ideas, we shook them out, wrestled those against doing them online, and came up with something. We invited and engaged, invited and encouraged engagement throughout. We asked questions right at the front. What do you want to come for? What do you want to learn as a leader? We wanted people to come and not plan to sit themselves in front of a video and be fed, but to feed themselves and to look for the answers that they came with. The pace and the variety kept people engaged, and the lightning talks, big hit. They did exactly what we wanted, and that was to ignite ideas, but it did something that was unexpected but perfect in my mind, and that is that people really enjoyed seeing the various perspectives and on speaking styles and presentation styles throughout that. So that was a bonus there. Lessons learned, begin with the end in mind. We went in with, what do we want to create? What's the feeling that we want to have? How do we get experienced leaders engaged? Simple is better. In this TLI, we had one time that people had to leave the Zooms. We had that back end, the Zoom process easier so that people could stay focused and we wouldn't lose the folks that are less equipped to do this. Change creates confusion and attention. That was a good thing and a bad thing. That what some of the changes are that we started earlier than we have in many years. And so people are wondering, is this count? Does it get credit? Is this going to be okay? What does this mean? And then the name change, the invitational. People are like, do I have to be invited? Should I go? Should I not go? Those are both good and bad things. It created some attention, which I think was good. And it also created confusion, which helps us understand what we can need to communicate more. And speaking of communication, we have to promote early, often, and it's a joint effort. It's not just TLI saying come, it's club coaches inviting their teams to go. It's officers inviting, and it's inviting them to grow into their own leadership and to tie in back into why did they step up in the first place? What do they want personally? And what do they want for their club? And again, the workbook, still a good idea, I think. Going to do it for the next TLI as well, but we need it to be sent out earlier and we need it to be integrated. And what I mean by that, and this is a function of how late it came out, is that the trainers need to resource it as well. Look on page 12 for this. So we will continue doing that. The goals. We have some lofty goals. We made some good headway, but we have 1,000 club officers we want trained. We have 135 clubs that we want to get to training, and we want most of our clubs to have 4 more lofty goals. Here's the straw for what the next TLI on January 16th looks like. We're taking the best parts or the parts of the TLI Invitational and throwing it over here. So we're doing the officer breakouts. They're going to be extended because we're going to be covering the basics, which we didn't do in the Invitational. We're using the lightning talks again, kind of in a different way. And we're having this optional Q&A at the end so that people that feel like they don't want to stay don't have to, but those that are engaged have an opportunity to get more personal attention. We also have 3 makeup trainings, division makeup trainings. I'll go on the dates, but that agenda is set as well. We know what the agenda looks like. It's offered during the week on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that we know that people can come. Here are the specific dates for the division makeup trainings. And while the divisions are identified here, that is not to mean that they're only for those divisions. They're for all divisions. Anyone can go to any of them. This just highlights who's responsible in terms of taking the lead on getting the division makeups in order. And then the last and most important part is, how do we encourage club officers? And this is key, is connect with them. And I don't mean by email or just doing the normal things, is really connect with them. Find out what they need, what they want. It's an opportunity to acknowledge what they're doing, to recognize their leadership. Bet talked about Kevin coming up and talking about the leadership team. It's a great time to plant the seeds of success and succession. Change the narrative. This is not about you have to go to training. Remember, you got to get 4 there. This is about what do you want to grow into? And so change the narrative about TLI being an opportunity to network, learn, share, teach, all of those things. Be targeted in your communications, meaning talk to the individuals and address them individually and make up. You know, Dennis said this last time, and I'm going to say it. I think it was great. Make a personal reach out. Call Linda, call Sally, call somebody directly and talk to them. And with that, I will stop sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I just love all of the things you're doing, Lisa. I just, oh my gosh, the number of people who have reached out to tell me how fantastic that session was. I was like, oh my gosh, I get it, guys. Lisa is the most genius, amazing person ever. I am like, I know you had a huge team, Lisa. So I'm just thrilled. And the thing is, we're innovating And that is working. That is working. 321, it's off the charts. I always seem like super positive, but honestly, I'm actually more of a realist. So I'm just amazed right now. I'm super, super excited about it. And I think the rest of the year is going to be fantastic. And I keep asking, and I want everyone to think about this. What can we do now that we couldn't do before? Right? Trying to print 321 sheets of a workbook, like we couldn't even do that before. We got to test this and try it and say like, hey, we can tweak it. But it's not even like we could try that before because the printing cost would have been ridiculous. So I just think that everyone needs to innovate right now. This is an exciting time. And maybe I did have too much coffee. But let's move to our next presenters. Wing and Hans are going to be presenting. And Wing and Hans, do you want me to share your slides or do you want to share them?
I'll share them.
All right. Hans is coming from a park. See, this is, what could you do now that you couldn't before? You could never present a TLI from a park before. So let's turn it over to Hans, our chief judge. Woo.
All right. Good morning, everyone. There's a lot of people on here this morning, and I'd like to see a show of hands. How many of you are an area director or division director? All right, put those hands up because this presentation is for you. We're going to spend roughly 30 minutes, but the last 10 minutes will hopefully be for questions and answers. This presentation is going to be all about what you need to do, what you need to prepare for in just a couple of months. Let me share my screen and I will get ready to go. Okay, here we go. Can everyone see that? Okay, what is, okay, here we go. Look at this stopwatch. The clock is ticking. There are 65 days left until the first area contest that's on the calendar. That's only 2 months. Only 2 months of preparation, and we're here to talk about what you need to do to get your clubs and your areas and all your volunteers ready for that big contest. Who is in the lead? Which area is in the lead in terms of scheduling those contests? Well, according to the calendar, these areas have put their contests on the calendar while the others are strangely missing. So I know you have your dates chosen. You simply need to put them on the calendar, and there's a handy link at the bottom of the slide allowing you to put those events on the calendar for everyone to see. That will allow your attendance to grow and grow so you get as many people at your contest as possible. Here's what you have to do. Step number one, since there's only 2 months away, you need to start now to motivate your clubs to conduct their own contests in January. Or if they're not going to do that, at least nominate some people to compete in your area contest. The next question you might have is how many people can go to the area contest? Well, if your area is small, which means 4 or fewer clubs, then each of those clubs is allowed to send both their first and second place winners to the area contest. And the same is true for the division contest. If they have 4 or few areas, each area can send their first and second place winner. So I would encourage you all to not wait until after Christmas. Just get that notification out there. Just do as much as you can to motivate people to think about competing or at least nominating themselves. A reminder about eligibility: clubs need to be in good standing and the contestants need to be in good standing as well. What does that mean? They need to be paid up. And if they are speaker, they need to have the first 2 levels of pathways completed. A little bit of fine print about that, but we'll skip through that right now. But the evaluation contest does not have any requirements. So a brand new member could compete in that contest. What if you're an area director? What is your ability? We do not expect area directors to oversee or manage the club contests. You can certainly attend them if you'd like. We would encourage that. But you are only responsible for managing your own area contest. But that's going to require a lot of work. You're going to need to recruit all the necessary volunteers. You're going to have to ensure everyone is trained and prepped. And then you're going to have to manage all that communication, getting everyone trained and send the invitations out. I would suggest that you appoint a contest chair. That's the person who is typically responsible for going out there and finding people. Take some of that burden off your shoulders. If you don't find a contest chair, then you would have to do all of this. But that's totally up to you. What about all your other fellow area directors? That's a big area of support for you, because you could ask them for volunteers. There must be people in their areas that could help yours and vice versa. Now, ideally, your test speaker, remember the test speaker is who the evaluators evaluate. This person should come from outside your area. And that's because contestants really hear someone who's new that they haven't heard before. And finally, try not to schedule your area contest on the same day as another area contest, because you want to be able to get as many volunteers as you can and not overlap them. Now, last year, we did have a couple of dual area contests. What that is a contest where two areas are there at the same time. You can think about doing that if you're running low on contestants. Do you think the turnout is going to be a little too low for just one area? Think about combining those. That's a possibility. If you want to do that, please contact us, because we have a special script and agenda that is modified for that format. Talk about a Zoom account. Typically, a lot of you have a free Zoom account, but it usually cannot support a meeting longer than 40 minutes. That is why you should either get a paid account or ask District 57 for one of theirs. I have the contact information there. His name is Ed Cullen. He'll be able to give you access to a district account that will totally set you up. What you need to do during the contest is you need to keep in touch. You need to stay in contact with all your volunteers, because there's some problems that typically arise. You need to decide whether to use text messages or WhatsApp to communicate during this contest. Now, remember that any kind of emails that you send amongst yourselves should exclude the judges, and that's because judges are confidential. So I'd recommend, if you email your contest crew, put your judges on blind copy. Now, this is an eyeful. This is a very helpful chart. It shows the number of volunteers that you need for the club level, area level, division level, and district level. So for instance, if you're an area director, you need voting judges midway down the slide. You need an equal number of judges from each club, or 5 minimum. We suggest more than 5 because there might be a problem with one of them, and you just want to overshoot in case there are problems. So keep this chart handy. This will help you a lot. Now, I'm not going to go through this, but just keep in mind that when you recruit judges, you really should get equal representation. See those red words in red font there. What that means is, if you get a judge from one club, you should get a judge from all clubs in your area. That's what we mean by equal representation. A little about judge eligibility there. Not going to go through that. A chief judge, just as a reminder, this is a very important position. This is your supervisor of all the voting judges, the tie-breaking judge, and the timers, and the ballot counters as well. This is a person who's going to be your right-hand man and will really help you out all the way through. Tie-breaking judge, you're familiar with that. They only vote in case of a tie and only if the chief judge contacts them. Pretty simple. Now, if you're an area director, if they don't appoint a contest chair, then they're going to need to do a lot of work, including this: scheduling prep sessions. A prep session is where all of the contestants can get together on Zoom and prep their equipment. That's important because you don't want to wait until the day of the contest to learn that someone's microphone is too quiet or their gestures cannot be seen because their laptop is too close. You want to have a prep session the night before or 2 nights before. Additionally, the chief judge might want to host their own prep session amongst their crew, which includes the ballot counters and judges, just to make sure they know everything they're doing. These next couple slides show important resources. You all know about the contest rule book, which is updated every year. The link is provided there. District 57 also has a very helpful page called the speech contest, the virtual speech contest webpage with all the training links and all the forms that are necessary. Now, some of you may have attended the contest last year, but you probably did not manage them since you were not an area director then. So you might not be aware that all of the forms that used to be on paper from 2 years ago are now electronic now. Here is an example. The contest agenda is electronic and it's on the District 57 site for you to take and fill in as needed. Another example, the contest script. This tells the Toastmaster everything they need to do. All of the forms are electronic now, including the judges' forms, the ballots, the timer sheet. Kevin and Bet, everyone did a phenomenal job last year to create Google forms of these paperwork, these paper forms, so that people can vote and take time and everything they used to do on paper online. Let me show you an example. Here's what the ballot looks like now. It is simply a Google survey form. What that means is that the judge clicks on a link and they see this. This allows them to select the contestant from a drop-down menu according to which one is the first, second, or third place winner. And then those results go into a Google Sheet. It's really simple. All the judge needs to do is click on a link and then take the survey. That's all that's necessary. What if you're the timer? Well, here is the timer report. And it's the same type of technology. It's simply a Google form where the timer selects the drop-down menu for the name and enters the time. Really simple. And last but not least, we have the certificates for the winners. So those are electronic as well on PDF. And finally, we hope that gives you, a nice summary of all the help that is available. We'll obviously send you all the necessary links, but I'd like to open this up to questions that any of you might have. What kind of, what kind of pain points do you have in the next couple months? Are you unsure about anything? Just unsure where to go or what to do? Please ask those questions now.
It makes more sense. Hello? Hans?
Yes.
Yeah, so I asked a question in the chat, but I'm not sure if anyone answered it. My question is, if I schedule a date now, and then it becomes clear that my volunteers can't do that date, can I change it on the District 57 website?
Yes, you can. There is a link where you can submit a request. You would need to obviously notify in the request that you want to delete the old dates.
Okay, so just get it on the calendar.
Yeah, I assume this is an area contest, so sometime in February, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, yeah, there shouldn't be a problem with changing it.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, anyone else? Any questions about the paperwork, the technology, or using the Zoom accounts, or?
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, this is Lisa Ash. I love the Google Forms for the timer and all those other roles. So once that information is filled in, the time for the contestants, how do the judges receive all that information?
Very good question. As soon as a judge or a timer selects the drop-down menu and enters their choice, for example, they say that Joe Smith is my first place winner, that name is automatically populated in a Google spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet is made available to the ballot counters. So it's automatically sent, it's automatically linked. There's nothing that needs to be sent to the ballot counters because they already have that, they already have access to that sheet.
Hans, you say that this is available. Is there any training that walks people through how all of this spreadsheet and the Google Forms and everything? Because it's one thing to say it all exists, but it's another thing to actually understand how it works.
Yeah, totally. That's a very good point. There is actually a link with a deck for each position. For example, for the ballot counters, there is a deck explaining that. And for the timer, there's a deck. And I will be sending all these links to everyone, to all the directors in a separate email, so that you have these links for each position, as well as the TMI pages with all the relevant tips. So yeah, actually all of this has been done since last spring, during the last contest. They did a very thorough job with all that. So I think it'll be very helpful for you.
Can we start practicing now?
Sure, you can use the links. And for example, you can use the Google form to enter a test ballot, and you'll be able to see what the result looks like. Yes.
Thank you.
This is Wayne. Just want to make sure that everyone is aware that the current virtual contest page of District 57 holds the more or less the most recent information that's available for all the positions. So that is a good starting point for in terms of the contest prepping, if you want to see what kind of preparation that needs to achieve a good contest, you want to start looking at some of the resources and try to digest some of the information. And in addition, information that we've given you, including the one from last month, we've given you some sort of do's and don'ts. You might want to take a look at some of those. Like Hans has mentioned, that Toastmasters International has also updated their speech contest webpage. There are 2 brand new documents that has a lot of the tips on what to consider. You may want to digest that while you're trying to digest your Christmas stay-at-home meals with your family. But also, if you want to, hey, organize a get-together with your the fellow area directors to take a look and to raise some questions, we'll be glad to answer some of those questions as well. Is specifically to some of the tools in terms of practicing, because of the nature of Google Forms and Google Sheets. What we did last year was the district produced Google Forms and the links and the Google Sheet links to the judging on the contest officials. So in essence, just basically the ability to receive that email, clicking open that link to make sure that those links work on the day of. And we also produce version of trial so that you can play with. I can go back and see if those the play version are still active. And for Google, you can save those versions and play with it. If you have a Google account, you can play with it yourself so that you can save it to whoever's Google account that you can achieve to, if anything, for the impartial use of that Google form on the back end. Then that's something that I think that we will ask you if you want to go as far as doing that for the start practicing. Those are available. If there are new tools that we would be adapting and the readying for the areas and the divisions to use, we'll get them out to you as soon as they're ready.
All right. Thank you, Wing. It looks like we have 8 more minutes in case there are any other questions.
D3 Tong Yin has a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is there going to be a training for the contest chairs, chief judges, and especially tech hosts? Like for the tech host, it's going to be challenging, like how to manage breakout rooms, especially like how to supervise the evaluation contests. It's going to be different than in-person training, like the evaluation contest. People are not allowed to do any preparation after the first 5 minutes. So that's like, and also how to draw contest, the orders, how to use. So things like that.
Thanks for the question. Very good one. Your sergeant at arms can be the same person as your tech host. However, you might want to have someone with experience who has done this before. Typically, the sergeant at arms would manage the breakout rooms in Zoom. For example, when the evaluators go off to prepare their notes, sergeant at arms is the one who monitors that breakout room. So they need to be comfortable with Zoom as well. But yes, to your point, you might want to have an additional person as a tech host who has done all this before and is available in case there are any problems. So I believe there's training material in terms of PowerPoint and even videos for almost every position. I'm not sure about the technical host yet. It might not be, but we'll have to check on that.
So David, I see David is on screen. David,
good morning, everyone.
About technical hosts as our tech host chair for the district.
Right. So good morning, everyone. Hans and Wayne. So we've been working, and everyone else, we've been working together prepare for this upcoming contest. So this not like last year. Last year, Zoom is pretty new to most of the people, right? And it's been almost 1 year. So people have more knowledge and confidence of using Zoom to conduct online meeting, the club meeting. The contest is a little bit different, but not that different from the online meeting, our club meeting or this DECM meeting we are doing here. So if we need it, so lots of information. Last year, I think Lisa, so put out a very good, sophisticated slides for all the details about Zoom, right? So if it is needed, we can do another online training, right? Training to get all the tech hosts for their, also for the club level, maybe even the club level or area level tech host and the division level tech host. And then we can put together a training to go through the details, like how to put the people into the different room, especially the ballot counter, chief judges, and the timer together to count the result, right? And then, so that is the most important part. Otherwise, just so mute, the tech host job is to mute and make sure mute everybody, and in the contest, and make sure the contest is going smoothly.
Thank you, David. That will be helpful. The training.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Hans.
I'll coordinate with Hans and the Wings to schedule the time for the tech host training.
Awesome.
And this is Wing. I just want to also, thank you, David and Pauline, for the excellent work. So we have something being prepped, and I think that from that effort, from the attendees, from some of these sessions, that we have identified also folks who have done the trainings before and who are experienced, so we can one way or another lean on their experience. And Beth, do you want to go through the comments on the chat to see how what comments that we still have not addressed?
Yeah, I saw a couple that I think should be addressed. Number one, someone asked if any divisions are considering a topics contest, and no, we have not done table topics for a few years now, and there are no plans to do table topics in the future. Another
not at the
question.
district, excuse me, but not at the district level, but we can do them at the club area and division level. They would stop at the division level.
Hans, can I address this
Following
question?
the book, following the booklet, of course, the rules. Manual.
Go ahead and address this question. All right. So first of all, anyone can do anything they want to, except for area directors and division directors, which you actually cannot do anything you want to. But clubs can do anything they want to. And I just wanted to remind everyone that so far I haven't found any division directors who are just bored. Like I haven't found anybody. I've never found any area directors who are bored either. Pretty much everybody is like completely filled up with Zoom meetings and just, so what we're trying to do as a district is make this easy for you and also give you timings to make this the fastest possible great experience. So I would just really strongly remind people that time is limited. There is such a thing as Zoom fatigue. Overburdening people with things like evaluation contest. The reason we picked it is because we're the only organization in the world that does an evaluation contest. It's very unique. It's our main thing that we're giving feedback. We're helping people grow. So that's why we picked that. And if the club wants to do table topics contest, I think that's super fun. Could be open house, really, really fun stuff. But I would say area directors are so busy. I can tell because of the number of area reports that I got extremely late. Everyone's really, really busy. So let's try to focus on the priorities of helping our clubs be excellent and starting new clubs, which is our district mission. So that's what I would say to that. Kate, if you want to talk more,
yeah,
George and I can
have because it is essentially the humor contest and the table topics is what made contests fun for the actual club members. And they like it, they miss it, they're asking for it. We're prepared to do it in our division. And we have a lot of people that have tech hosts and other experience that we believe we can pull it off. And it doesn't, because it only, it stops at the division. So that's why we had requested the ability to do that. Yeah, you can talk Zoom fatigue. Actually, the evaluation contest and the international we have to do. The other one is optional, but definitely being asked for by our members. And why can't we make it fun for our members as well?
Okay, so just a clarification on that. Clubs can do it. But Kate, you are saying that areas can do it as well?
According to the contest rule book, and again, it says you can't do a contest unless you follow the rule book. According to the rule book, remember, they didn't ever go up to the district level in the first place. They always stopped at the division level. So what difference does it make? I mean, it's not going to impact the district and what they're doing for their 2 contests, right? We'll still send you our evaluation and international speech contestants up the chain. We get that part. But what we're trying to do is rally back members that had fun before and try and encourage them to come back to their clubs, enjoy the fun contests, and that's what we're after.
So Kate, we're almost out of time for this section. Let's do an email with all the division directors and just see what kind of appetite people have for running yet another contest. Okay.
Yeah, because it looks like another Division D, I believe. It looks like they're planning on it too. So
I would be shocked. I would be very shocked. So let's just do an email and take this offline because we have a lot of people and we have a very tight agenda today. And I do believe we are at the end of the time. There is one other quick question from Brooke around how do we prevent contestants in the evaluation contest from spending more time on their evaluation prep. Does Hans or Wing want to take that?
Well, yeah, I think we covered this a few minutes ago where the sergeant at arms has a breakout room and they time it, or of course the timer would help in that regard. I believe it's 5 minutes. Is that the question, to make sure they don't exceed 5 minutes?
Yeah, does Brooke want to come on and just ask her?
I can address that. For those who have not seen the back end in the breakout room for evaluation contest, at the end of the 5 minutes that they allotted to, the sergeant arms, or so someone timing it, will be asking the contestants to fold up the piece of paper of their evaluation, hold it in front of the camera, fold it and show it so that, yes, Lisa is doing it exactly the way it's supposed to be. So basically, literally pens down, hands up, and you are just going to be holding it in front of the camera so that the sergeant arms can verify you that you're not working on your evaluation, and you'll be drawn one by one as the contestant's order is called. So that's how a sergeant at arms will be sitting in the breakout room with the evaluation contest contestants as they're released one by one. And that's how to do it using the camera. And that's why turning on the camera, and even if the sergeant arms want to engage them in chit chat.
I just one point to add. So to release the people from the breakout room to the contact, that is the job of the tech host. So tech host person need to jump between the main room and the breakout room and back and forth during the period of time.
All right, I'm going to be sending an email out about the extra contests, by the way, and maybe I'll just copy all the area directors too. All right,
thanks.
Hans, I really am sorry. I'm right 1 minute out of time now. I'm sorry, Hans. Wing, Hans, thank you so much. Wonderful job. You guys really helped me remember all the details. And now we're going to go to the District Bucks program, which is really an amazing innovation that we've created. Abe, do you want to share your screen? Do you want me to share it for you?
Let me share my 20 slides, okay?
You have 20 minutes, Abe.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's turn it over to Abe Mazniak, our awards chair.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. District Bucks. It's a great way for your club to make money so you can spend it for important things that your club needs. So I'm going to give you an update. Our clubs have been doing a fantastic jobs in generating district bucks. This is an update since our last meeting, and we've had 17 clubs that have held an open house and submitted their approvals since the last DECM. So that's great news. Just last Thursday, Electric Toasters had one, and they have yet to submit it. So currently, 13 clubs have been approved for their open houses. So let's see, what is 13 times 50? Who's the smart math person here? Oh, Beth, what is 13 times 50?
I'm sorry.
$50.
$650.
$650. That's fantastic. So far, we've got 97 of the 152 clubs in our district that have gained district bucks. So I think we need to work on the other, let's see, what's the different, 56 clubs to get online and start making money. As of today, the total amount of district's bucks that we've generated is 6,565. Let's see, our treasurer, do we have enough money in the bank for all of that? I hope so. Okay, the next update is what's coming up. Well, we've had a discussion about the winter TLI, club officer training, and the makeup training that's coming up in January and February. So remember, if you get 7 officers trained, your club can get $50 of district bucks. So make sure that your clubs get 7 officers trained. The next thing that's coming up and has started already is the club newsletter contest. It started already. I talked to Venkat, and we've got 19 clubs that are participating, and they can start producing their newsletters between December 1st and May 31st. And the best 3 newsletters in the district will receive either $100, $75, or 50 district bucks. And that'll be decided in June of this year. So Venkat is the newsletter master. So if you want to bribe him, I wouldn't spend more than $100 because that way you get 0. But it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing these great newsletters. That's my update. Thank you, Bet.
Wow, I was expecting 20 more slides, Abe.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much. Awesome. All right, we are just knocking this agenda out the window today. We're just getting right through it. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen, Abe. Thank you for that amazing presentation.
Okay.
Now I want to introduce a chair that actually got appointed a few months ago, but we had not seen we had not really met this person before. So I'm going to introduce Chris, and I'm not even going to try to say your name, Chris, but Chris, are you ready to present about OATM?
Yeah. So let me start with that. If you didn't pronounce my last name, I'm going to give you a tip for that. If you know chocolate and the gum, that's my name. You need to know chocolate, okay. Chokalingam. So it's like a chocolate and lingam, and it's similar to the linking their gum. So that is the name. So Chokalingam. Okay. So my name is Krishna Chokalingam, and I'm the OATM chair for the District 57. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the OATM. So Lisa, do you want me to use my computer so that I have to go through a few things? Is it okay?
Yes, go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about the OATM, and then what I'm going to talk is initially what is OATM, and then we are going to talk about the updates, then how to get it, and how to contact me, or how to get the OATM. So first we'll start with what is OATM. So everybody knows about this one, right? We all get a triple crown. That's one part. The second thing we get is outstanding OATM. That's the second award. We get it from the district. And third, we get it like, Toastmasters DTM. So what is this OATM about? It's a very simple thing. We have educational awards, which everybody get it. And then we have a highest award, DTM. It's in between, it's called OATM, so that everybody can experience things what they will do after getting the education. That's what OATM is about. So let me get into how to do that and to get that OATM. So that's the second part. OATM has been there for a long time. And this year, since there was a lot of changes, we have done a lot of changes on the OATM, how to get that. So today I'll focus more on that, but I will give an overview of what is OATM. For example, let me go back to another screen. So this is what you do. You go to the district website and go to this page, Membership Awards and Recognition, and download the Excel spreadsheet here. From there, I'm going to go to another screen where it's ready. So from here, you get this screen, and this is called OATM Excel spreadsheet. So they have about 5 categories, which everybody has to do that. It's called communication, leadership, training, membership, going beyond the club. So those are the 5 categories everybody need to do that. And each category, you need to do at least 2 items. And once you do that, you can send it to digitally to VP of Education or the president of the club. So they can digitally sign that Toastmasters is all about trust. So we believe that people who are doing that follow the rules. And then the president or the VP of Education signs this electronically and send it to the OATM chair. And I take a look at that. And after that, I submit it to the awards chair. And this is the process. Let me go a little bit what we did this year from last year, because there is a lot of updates we did from last year. So we did that. We took out most of these communication areas. There was like, CC, advanced leadership, bronze, silver, and gold. Those areas, those things has been removed and replaced with a pathway level, like 1 to 5. So those the major thing we did. And then we did on the leadership, little bit, not too much. We left this advanced leader silver. Everybody might have a question. I think the international has allowed to do that advanced leader silver person who is in that level to complete the DTM. So they asked us to leave that. Then other than that, there is not much major things. So for example, I did this example. If you do like a couple of things, you get a points. So you need to have that minimum cutoff points also. That's one requirement also. Once you're done that, it's very easy. You need to get electronically signed and send it to the OATM chair. And from there, we will take care of that. And you'll be given the awards at the district level if you submitted before. If not, you have up to June 30th to complete this process, and you will be given the award as well as the pin for this OATM at the end of the term. So that is all about OATM. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me, or so you can contact me so that I can give you a reply. With that, I'm going to give back to our district director to take care of that.
Thank you so much. And Kevin, go ahead and start sharing your slides because we are 5 minutes over, which I have no idea what happened. But
okay.
Please, Chris, can you post your email address in the chat so people can just reach out to you with any questions?
Okay.
I'm going to turn over to our previous director, district director, Kevin Markle, DTM. Kevin, please come on screen and tell us all about DLC.
Definitely. DLC, as easy as 1, 2, 3, right? Today, I'm so excited to talk about 3 things. I'm going to talk about teamwork. I'm going to talk about succession planning and making the ask. Very exciting. You know, teamwork, that really a big theme, not just today, but even like the past couple of weeks, right? Putting up the Christmas lights. Somebody has got to hold the ladder. Somebody's got to put the things on. Raising kittens, a team effort. Organizing open houses, team effort. I saw Stacey Schwan and others in the chat today. Hey, who can I work with to help with judges? Contests, a team effort. Lisa talked about TLI and training, a team effort. Well, guess what? Succession planning, finding our leaders for next year is a team effort. It is a team effort. And I want to ask a question to you, right? Think in your personal and your professional life. Is there somebody that you've helped to pull up? Or somebody, a mentor who has helped you move up into a new role, right? Not just at Toastmasters, maybe work or in church or somewhere else in your personal life. If there's somebody that you've helped or somebody that's helped you, I want you to type their name in their chat, just their first name, all right? Think about it, all right? Because that's what happened to me, all right? When I got out of college, I had somebody who looked after me, who saw something in me, who said, hey, I think that you would be a great fit for this role. And that gave me an opportunity to shine. And then I had the opportunity to give other people those chances. And that's really key, because when we think about where leaders come from, right? They come from our members, right? We're all Toastmasters first and foremost. That's where we all started. But then somebody said, hey, you should become a club officer. And then somebody tapped their shoulder and said, maybe you should become an area director or a division director or a member of our trio, our district director, our program quality, our club growth director, or the many chairs that we have. The reality is all of our leaders for next year are going to come from our members, from our club officers, from our area directors and division directors. It comes from you. And so it's incredibly important that we work together as a team to accomplish that. And we do, in fact, have a team that's helping to accomplish that. And that is the District Leadership Committee team, right? The role of the team is to help oversee this process of pulling up these members and club officers into new and exciting roles. And I want to take a moment to quickly introduce the team that we have. All right, we've got Trish Johnson in Division A, Joanne Bradley in Division B, Jay Ligda in Division C, Ed Cullen in Division D, Ramesh Yakali in Division E, Ashley Harkness in Division F, Dave Blum up in G, Lisa Fairchild in H, and Venkat Raman down in I. We have a fantastic team, and we're going to be working together on succession planning. All right, and that's what I want to talk about next, succession planning. What is it? Right? It's a plan, right? It's a process that we're following. It's not saying, hey, we'd like to get a lot of leaders for next year, but I don't know how we're going to do it. It's a plan and a process. And I want to talk a little bit about that, right? Some of the logistics behind this. So, for example, what roles are we actually filling, right? There's 12 elected roles that our district leadership committee needs to find and recommend for roles. We've got our district director, program quality and club growth director, and 9 division directors, right? So we've got 12 people right there who are going to be elected into roles going into next year. But that's not it. That's not it, because as you all know, it takes a lot more than that to run a district. We've got 35 area directors, our finance manager, and so many chairs that were just presenting on today's calls. By my measure, I mean, we've got more than 75 people involved in helping our members and our club officers and our district officers find their voice and make a difference. So how do we go about actually filling these roles? How can you actually think about applying, right? Well, the first thing that you can do is reach out to me. Just send me an email. Hey, I'd like to learn more about some of these roles, right? Or I'd like to apply. I'm going to forward that email to the appropriate person on our district leadership committee. All right, we have a committee and we work on it together as a team. There's paperwork that you need to fill out, right? An authorization form, as well as a bio, because we want to learn more about you, and a high resolution photo, right? Not an itsy bitsy photo, a high resolution photo. All right, we're going to work through the paperwork. We're going to validate that you're a good fit, right? Because we want to set you up for success, not failure. All right, so we're going to validate that you're a good fit, and we intend at this point to file a formal report with recommendations on who we think is going to be running for these 12 elected roles. All right, that's the process. Are there any questions on the process? All right, I just want to take a pulse right now really quickly before I talk about making the ask.
So Kevin, I just realized that the logistics manager is not on the list anymore.
The logistics manager is a chair.
Oh, it's chair now. Okay, thanks.
Well, one question that you might have is, well, how do I learn more about these roles? We're actually going to have information on the website where actual people who have done the actual roles talk about what it is actually is involved. All right, so we're going to have information on that available on the website, so it'll be crystal clear. All right, let's see. Anything else I'm missing in chat? I'm hoping somebody's keeping an eye on the chat window for me. All right. So let's move on because we want to finish on time. Let's talk about making the ask, right? It's not enough just to say like, hey, I know somebody who would be a great fit for this role. Right? It's not enough just to know somebody, right? You have to actually make the ask. And a lot of you are going to be making the ask as you build your contest teams, as you build training teams and more in the weeks and months ahead. So a couple, the obvious thing, right? If presented with the option to send an email or to get on a phone or a Zoom call with somebody, what do you think is the best way to make an ask? And feel free to open up the annotations and put in a stamp under whatever you think is the best one, or jump into chat and type phone or email. What's the best way to make the ask? Right? You want somebody to help you out, to fill a role, to do something for you. How do you ask? Yes. I'm seeing a trend already. Yes, you want to get them on the phone, right? Maybe it's sending an email. Hey, do you have 5 to 10 minutes to chat or to catch up? I'd love to hear, you know, what paths you're working on, right? Get them on the phone. Find a way to get them on the phone. Okay? Do not just send an email. You might be able to get away with that if they're like best buddies, right? But that's not the best way to make the ask. All right? This is not about, hey, I need you to do something for me, right? It's not, hey, what's in it for me as a contest chair? Well, I'm going to be able to run my contest and that's good for me. It's about what that person is going to learn, okay? And I'm going to clear my screen of annotations, or somebody can do that for me. Let's see, clear all drawings, perfect. All right, guess what? In these roles, you can learn real, tangible life skills and competencies. And I'm going to talk about some of these. And again, in the annotation, if you think you've been learning some of these skills in your role today, put a stamp next to the skill and competencies you've been learning. All right. It starts with strategic thinking, strategic planning, right? How are we going to be a distinguished district? How are we going to run an open house that has people filled to the brim? All right. How do we build a team to run our contest? How do we build a team to execute a marketing campaign? All right. How do I manage this team? Right. I can't do everything myself. I've got to delegate to them. I've got to motivate and recognize the people who have been doing really well on my team to continue to inspire them, right? Or if they're struggling, to keep them going, to give them the coaching and the mentoring they need to be successful. And hey, I'm going to be honest, right? It's been a tough year, right? Anybody who says it's been an easy year is lying. It's been a tough year, right? Which means it's a year for creative thinking, thinking outside the box, new ways to approach problems, new opportunities, new solutions, like new workbooks at TLI. That was creative thinking. Managing projects. I know I have a ton of projects at work. I have a timeline. I have a goal I need to hit, milestones to do. Just like in the real world, right? Running a contest is running a project that has goals and timelines and people involved and maybe a budget involved, right? How do I manage money, right? How do I collaborate with others effectively to reach my goals, right? Sometimes I have to work with other teams. I don't manage them. They report up to somebody else. So how do I convince them to get on board? All right. How do I use data to make better decisions? How do I run more effective meetings to be successful? There are a ton of real life skills and competencies that people are going to learn in these roles, right? As an area director, division director, in the countless chairs. All right. So I want you to think about all of these skills and competencies and think about, why you? Why you? Why are you a good fit? Why are you a good fit for this particular role, right? Are you trying, is that person that you're thinking about, are they trying to learn something specific? Are they on a path like innovative planning or motivational strategies, right? Innovative planning, right? They could be a great contest chair because you have to plan a contest. Motivational strategies, that could be a fantastic club coach, right? Somebody who can help motivate and inspire others, right? Understand who you're talking to and what they want to learn, where they want to grow, all right? Now that you understand what they want to learn, now is the time to talk about why would you be a great fit for this particular role? And you have to be specific. Like Wing was so fantastic last year, helping us out with contests. He helped us out with the training aspect. He helped us out actually on the back end running the contest. And Wing, I think you're such a great fit to be helping out with contests again this year. All right, be specific about why they would be a great fit and talk about, hey, by the way, you don't just help yourself, but you help others. Wing, you're so good at helping to manage and organize contests, online contests. You're going to make it so much smoother so that people can have a great experience. And we make it easy so that one of our members becomes the world champion of public speaking this year. I really hope you can help us with contests this year. All right. You need to make it all about what's in it for the person you're talking to. All right. What's in it for them to be an area director? What's in it for them to be a division director, to be a chair, to be a member of your team? Why are they a great fit? How is this not just going to help them, but the greater organization, right? That is how you make the ask, not by sending an email, not by saying, hey, can you do this in 1 or 2 sentences? All right. I hope that was really helpful to understand a little bit more about the District Leadership Committee, right? We're a team that's helping to facilitate the process of finding the next leaders for the year ahead. If you work together as a team, if you work with our members and the people in your specific divisions, I know we're going to find fantastic people that are going to help our members and our officers and our next district leaders find their voice and make a difference.
Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate that. We are running 5 minutes behind, which is unbelievable. So I'm going to ask Lindy to go next. And I think I'm going to have shorten up the corporate club coaching update a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. All right, Lindy Sinclair, our new Pathways Chair. Lindy.
Good morning, everybody. So please switch to speaker view if you are not on speaker view.
Do you guys see Lindy? It's just me.
I'm not seeing myself. I'm seeing you, Bet.
I see a flower, Lindy. Is your camera on?
Oh, thank you. Okay, that's better. Thank you. Okay, is everybody on speaker view?
Yes, Lindy.
One person
see
is,
you
that's
now.
good. Okay, I'm seeing David on my screen, so I hope everybody else can see me. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. You can probably see it backwards, but it says celebrate the season. We are in holiday season. And I want to tell you a story about me when I was a little girl in London. And we call Santa Claus Father Christmas, just so you know, because I'll switch back and forth. So I knew that Father Christmas came down the chimney every Christmas Eve and left presents for me. And I loved that. That seemed like a wonderful idea. But I had a mother who wanted to treat children like adults. So came the day, I was probably about 6 or 7 years old, when she sat me down and said, Lindy, there is no Father Christmas, no Santa Claus. And I said, that's impossible. I get all these presents every Christmas morning. Obviously there's a Santa Claus. And she said, now come on, really? Do you think that there's one person that can get to all the children in the world in one night? And I, using my 6-year-old logic, explained to my mother that it wasn't just one, that there was a Santa Claus for every neighborhood. So where do you think I'm going with this? I'm the Pathways Chair. In every neighborhood in Toastmasters, there's an area director and a division director, and I'm calling on you to be Santa Claus and tell the clubs in your area or district all about pathways. Specifically, I am asking you to make sure that everybody's using the right language, because I'm getting really fed up with people saying my pathways is. My path is. Pathways is the name of the whole educational system, and each of us is choosing a path. So please make sure everybody's using the right language, because that really helps. Encourage every club to select a vice president of pathways. It's an unofficial officer role, so they don't get to go to officer meetings, they don't get all the perks of being an officer, but it's an essential part of each club. So every club needs to have a vice president of pathways. Let them know that from I hope most of you were at my webinar on Thursday, that I have arranged for every vice president of pathways to receive a PowerPoint deck that they can use to introduce themselves to the club, saying who they are and what they are offering. So they will not have to invent that from scratch. They can use my PowerPoint and just modify it with their name and their club website and so on. And tell people to come to the webinars. That's the next thing. I will be giving these webinars the first Thursday in even numbered months. So the next one will be in February. So the first Thursday in February, the first Thursday in April, the first Thursday in June, from 6 to 8 p.m. I will not be making the webinar that we just had available as a download. There were some personal things that occurred during that I won't go into here, but those that were there know that there was some trouble with my mother, and I don't want that sent out in the world. But I will make the PowerPoint slide deck available that I used in that. So please, if you're an area director or a division director, be in touch with me, and please do those 4 things. Make sure everybody's using the right language, encourage each club to select a vice president of pathways, let them know that the vice president of pathways will have access to the PowerPoint slide deck to introduce themselves to the club and say what they will be doing. and tell people to come to the interactive webinars that I will be giving. I'm not going to ask for questions in view of the fact that we are running short of time. I will deliver the rest of my time back to Bet.
I would like to turn it over to Bill Holsley for the launch of the Club Ambassador Program. Bill, take it away.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I'm excited to talk about a brand new program we're calling a Club Ambassador. Now, we all know about club coaching. Club coaching is for clubs that are struggling. But what about the clubs that don't qualify for a club coach? What can we do to help those clubs? We're thinking about a brand new program called the Club Ambassador. And yeah, it's much like a person in a knight in shining armor, because that's basically what they're doing, coming in to help out struggling clubs. Perhaps it might be a club that has more than 12 members, say 13 or 14 members, but their DCP score is very low, 0, 1, or 2. I lost my slides. Can we get my... The slides aren't sharing on the main screen. Are they sharing?
I can still see Bill.
What was that?
You can see the whole army there, yeah.
Keep
can you see them? Oh.
Going.
Okay, you can see them. Okay, good. All right, good. All right. Wasn't sure if you can see them. Now, let's talk about the difference between a coach and an ambassador, some really key differences. When you think about a coach, typically a coach is assigned to work with a club until they become a DCP, a distinguished club of 5 points. Well, for an ambassador, we're just working with a club until they start to see some improvement in their DCP scoring. Typically, we're going to drive to an improvement of at least a delta change of, say, 2 points. Suppose they're at 1 or 2, we're going to make them, say, 3 or 4. So we want to improve a minimum of 2 points. That's the first thing. Second thing is we're working with clubs that have more than 12 members. So that's another nice little distinction. And also, we're going to see we're working with clubs that are on the cusp of really having issues, but we want to get to them early. That's the most important part. We want to get to these clubs early before they swim into that abyss where they all of a sudden desperately need a coach. We're trying to get proactively engaged with these clubs. Also, you don't have to necessarily drive the club to become distinguished. You're just trying to help that club and galvanize it and get it out of that area where it needs help. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm not sure which slide are you showing. Are you showing the slide with the chart or the slide that says benefits of club ambassadors?
Benefits.
Okay, thanks. Because it's not showing on my screen for some reason. Okay, anyway, so let's talk about the benefits of what a club ambassador is about. So club ambassadors have some really great benefits. We're looking for candidates across the district who've at least completed, say, a level 3 in pathways and are looking for a fantastic level 4 or level 5 project so they can complete their path. We're looking for someone who's got some hands-on experience, who wants to gain hands-on experience, and how to drive the success of a club. And also to help serve the district. And we're going to have some really great awards to recognize great club ambassadors, folks that are really ambitious who want to help out struggling clubs. Next slide, please. It shows about the benefits to the district. Again, the importance is proactive engagement. Can't stress that enough. Because if we can get to these clubs before they need a coach, we might be able to reduce the need for so many coaches, because we all know it is a challenge to obtain and acquire club coaches. But we feel it might be easier to attain club ambassadors. Much easier process. Next slide, please. I want to give some props to George, who really was helpful in getting a lot of these statistics for this presentation. Here is a great graph that, thank you, George, you helped to generate. Notice the importance of getting involved with clubs early, folks. Early. If you can see right here at the bottom part of the chart, if we get involved with clubs early, then the chances of driving that club to success, to be a success, select distinguished or presence distinguished, greatly increases. But if we don't get involved early, then their glide path is more towards not distinguished at all. So you can see the bottom 2 levels of that chart. So that's why we want to get involved early. Very important. Next slide, please. We want you. So that's the next part. We're going to look on recruitment. George, again, was very helpful in identifying 426 some odd Toastmasters across the district. But of those, 200 have completed their level 3, but have not started level 4 or 5 in pathways. We're going to start with the pool of Toastmasters, engage with them, vet them, and see, are you really looking for a great level 4 or level 5 project that you can serve the district? They could come in as a leader and develop their team. The team would most likely be consisting of the club ambassador, perhaps the area director, perhaps a distinguished Toastmaster. And that team of at least 3 or 4 people could come in, work with the club, help galvanize it, and figure out what the problems are and get it going. And again, increase that DCP scoring of at least a couple of points minimum. And we're going to offer some great awards at the annual banquet for those ambassadors that have done a fantastic job. So that's another great incentive we want to make sure we do. Recognize achievement of those fantastic, voracious, I want to say it again, rock star Toastmasters who have come in and helped to galvanize a club that might be struggling and having problems. All right, now here is, I might say, the gloomy statistics, folks, but it is what it is. We've got 155 clubs. Of those, 53 need coaches. And Ashley's going to talk briefly about the coaching program, but I'm more talking about the club ambassador program. We also have 32 clubs in the district that need ambassadors. They're on the cusp of slipping into the need of a coach. We want to get to those 32 clubs early so they don't necessarily need a coach. So we want to start working on those leads and start identifying ambassadors to start working with those 32 separate clubs. Again, those are 2 different lists. So if you add that together, it's roughly over 50% of clubs, I hate to say it, need some help, but it is what it is. All right, next slide shows the next steps involved. And what we want to do is want to formally launch the program. We want to start vetting our candidates, and we'll be working with Ben and the trio on that step. And our measure of success is to reduce those 32 clubs that need an ambassador, say by half. Wouldn't that be nice? By June of next year. So we can get that 32 straight down, perhaps down to 16. Wouldn't that be great? So we don't have so many clubs that are having problems. And I know my time is limited, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and we'll be happy to talk to you a bit more about the Club Ambassador Program.
Bill, add your email to the chat. So we are 2 minutes over. I just want to say Ashley is looking for coaches. So again, 53 clubs need coaches, and he actually has a list of the ones that are probably going to make it, because some of those clubs may not make it. So please reach out to Ashley. Ashley, put your email in there. And I'm going to now thank you, Ashley Harkness. By the way, we chatted to let him know that we had run out of time, so he doesn't feel slighted. So at this moment, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday, whichever holiday you like. If you don't celebrate any holidays, you know, I wish that you enjoy that also. Whatever it is, it's all good. So I'm going to now turn it. Oh, actually, I'm going to do one more call. So we're having lightning talks. I got inspired by Lisa. We're going to do lightning talks at the next DECM, which is on January 9th. If you have an idea, 5 minutes, I think it's so great. Everyone's doing interesting things. How can we get that collaboration together? So please message me, send me an email and say like, hey, I want to do a lightning talk. And we have a lot of time at the DEC in January. So let's make it fun after the holidays. So I'm going to turn it now over to our division directors to do breakout rooms. So Mona, go ahead and send everyone. Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. See you guys all on the other side. 2021. Woo!
We have
the meeting is over, Lisa?
I think